He's taking a nap.
All right. Hey, we're live. Look at that. There we are.
Check it out, Poncho.
There we are.
He is in bliss.
Can you see him?
He's
Oh, here he is.
napping. He's napping.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
The B-side, the Kite High Show, Jacob and Alice. Well, let's go ahead and play our little intro song, and then we'll get into that. We'll get into that business. We got business to get into. But we're going to play
Just you wait.
a quick little song first. Goes like this. A one, two, three, four. I just want to get high and sing my song. I hope someone out there will sing along. Y'all can dance or you can fight, cuss and drink all damn night, but I just want to get high and sing my songs. Lately this old world has seemed mighty complicated. A lot of folks are angry and more are just jaded. It gets hard keeping up with news and social expectations. But I just want to sing my heart and enjoy some libations. I said I just want to get high and sing my songs. And I hope someone out there will sing along. Y'all can dance or you can fight, cuss and drink all damn night, but I just want to get high and sing my songs. We can't go back to the way things used to be. We can aim through where we think we want to go. Oh, brother, you do you and I'll do me. A little love and we could all be free. I said live, let live so we can all die in peace. Good grief, I said I just want to get high and sing my songs. And I hope someone out there will sing along. Y'all can dance or you can fight, cuss and drink all damn night, but I just want to get high and sing my songs. I said, I just want to get high and sing my songs. And I hope someone out there will sing along. Y'all can dance or you can fight, cuss and drink all goddamn night, but I just want to get high and sing my songs. Whoa.
True story.
It is true.
Oh, thank you.
So thanks y'all for being here. So that's a song called Dance or Fight. We've been using it as the intro because this show has been called the Kite High Show. But there's so many names floating around here. We're on the B-side here at Six Springs Tavern. Is Wake and Bake Sunday. And that also is the name of Sonny Marcel's show, which just took place before this. That's the Wake and Bake Show. And it's also Wake and Bake Sunday. And our show has been called the Kite High Show, but we kind of inherited that name, and it's a cool name, and I identify with it, and I like it and everything. But something was like, we're always back and forth about it, and we came up with another name. We're gonna change the name of the show. So do you wanna do the honors?
To Hair of the Dog.
With Jacob and Alice. Hair of the
Now,
Dog with Jacob and Alice.
We had a little help from, as the song goes, we can get by with a little help from our friends.
Oh yeah, Jess helped with that.
He did. He
Cool.
inspired it.
Credit to Jess Spires.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another fun Jess fact, Jess helped produce that song that we just played, actually. He was the co-producer on that song, which we got to record to tape and stuff. So Jess is going to be one of our future guests for sure.
So y'all get ready.
That is coming.
We'll tease that one.
Yeah, we don't have it scheduled just yet because we're waiting on a specific thing that he's going to be here to promote to be ready.
Vague mystery.
So yeah, there's some tantalization, but also Hair of the Dog, because we got Poncho here.
Yeah, he's the dog.
Six Springs on Sundays is there he is. Good boy. And
He
Six
said,
Springs
"That's
is a
me,"
is a
yeah.
pretty at least on Sundays is a very dog friendly environment. And so yeah, we're like that's a pretty nice little name. So
Oh, now he's
welcome
embarrassed.
to although this is our our
First?
fourth
It's the
our
first.
fourth episode. It is the first official episode, I guess, of
Hair of the dog.
Hair of the Dog with Jacob and Alice Zaz.
Yes.
And that's us, by the way. That's Alice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Jacob. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here. We have an exciting show ahead. We have 2 guests, which is exciting. We have
Songs will be played.
We
That's
have
exciting.
Yeah, we're gonna play some songs.
We're
Probably gonna talk a
s-
little bit.
Oh,
Man, all
we
kinds of
talk
stuff.
at the same time.
Yeah. Well, how about you talk a little bit? What did you do this weekend?
Oh, let's see. Well, I know that our band enjoyed playing together out in Euless. Excuse me. The address says Fort Worth. A little confusing, but Euless officially. And that was a lot of fun.
It was
Got
fun.
to
It was
get
kind
out
of a
there, and then
showcase kind of thing, like a kind of harkened back to earlier days of playing music. And if you're a musician in a rock band
know
or
what
anything like
early
that, you
days are like.
probably know what I'm talking about when I say that.
But we had pool.
It was a
and
lot of fun.
Good wings and good folks, and
It was.
that was all good.
Yeah.
And then
good
we
stage.
kind of stayed out west that day. You and I played Troy's.
Oh yeah,
And then the Rangers-
yesterday.
oh, what was the end of the Rangers
Oh yeah,
game?
does anyone know if the Rangers won yesterday? No one
Okay.
knows.
Someone in the chat.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, if you're in the chat, let us know if the Rangers won. I'm gonna assume the Rangers won because they had us warming up their audience for them,
Yes.
which was a special treat. That was a pretty cool gig. And then you did something else last night though too, didn't you?
Oh yes, we talked about regularly on the show the wonderful Dead Keys. I got to,
No, this was yesterday.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Played with the.
Oh, okay.
No, the Rangers just.
They won yesterday too.
That was because of us.
Nice. Yeah, we did that. We helped.
Mhm.
Cool. Go Rangers. I'm not really a sports fan, but I'll say go Rangers.
Yeah, that's. I'll be supportive of my town's.
Especially because they are wrecking
Sports.
shit. From what I hear, they're like really, really, really killing it. They're like on top of the game. So I'll support. Heck yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, you played with the Dead Keys last night, right?
I did. Out in Fort Worth. We were
Nice.
back out west, and that was a delight and a treasure. And shenanigans were had, and
Of course. I was out in Midlothian
yes.
playing honky tonk in a little warehouse district that did not look like there was going to be a music venue there. I thought I was in the wrong place. I was like, I'm about to get taken away into the hills. But I didn't, and there was a venue there, and it was super cool. It was really nice. But today we're at Six Springs,
Yep, we're
our
back
home base.
a little east.
Yeah,
the
we
east
actually,
side of things.
we're going to be back here also. I'm going to plug this continually through the show because it's very important to me. This Friday night, this Friday night coming up, we're playing here at Six Springs with our full band, the Loose Ends, opening for Last Train to Juarez, which is a very cool band out of Arizona. And so yeah, if you're not doing anything Friday, now you are. Now you're doing something. So you're welcome. Let's play another song. How about that? You got anything else
Alright.
you want to say before we?
Play another song.
Play
and
more
get our
music?
Other guest ready. Cool. Oh, well, that's so kind.
That's true. What do you want to play?
You said let's play something.
You
I
know all
was
the
like,
same songs I do.
Well.
How about let's play some Family Farm. How about that? Let's put that banjo to use. You brought it and everything.
I got it. I brought it. You know that warming up I said I was gonna do,
And you didn't do it?
and I didn't do it.
All
so
right.
you know.
Cool. Well,
That's
here's a
all
nice little warm-up
fresh,
song.
Fresh for all of you. Yes. Yes. And he said, "Hair of the dog spirit." Truly. Let's see.
We need a peanut gallery mic, although it would probably cause feedback because this is amplified in the venue. If you're not here, you could be here for the live studio audience, and it is like a concert, and
And
it's
then you
playing
could
over the
hear-
main PA and everything.
You could hear
But
the peanut gallery.
we got people out here shouting stuff at us, so if you see us talking off camera, that's
I've
You
got
know
the
what's
room
up.
mics in there. You can kind of hear it.
right on.
And then you can shout at us digitally too. I got the chat on YouTube open.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, leave a comment on the chat, please. All right, so here's a song called Family Farm. I wanna make me $1 million so I can buy back the family farm. Mistakes were made, no one was saved, and times really do get hard. I wanna make me $1 million and buy back the family farm. I wanna make me $1 million and buy back the family farm. Mistakes were made, no one was saved, and times really do get hard. I wanna make me $1 million, buy back the family farm. I wanna make me $1 million, pay off the junkies' bail. It just never made much sense to me putting sick people in jail. I wanna make me $1 million, pay off the junkies' bail one time. I wanna make me $1 million and go and have a real wild ride. I wanna run around, holler and shout, tell everybody I feel fine. I wanna make me $1 million and go and have a real wild ride. Let's ride. I wanna make me $1 million and lay around in the sun. I wanna turn them dollars into margaritas. Oh boy, what fun. I wanna make me $1 million and die drinking in the sun. I wanna make me $1 million, buy back the family farm. That piece of land done been paved over, now is a Walmart. I wanna make me $1 million and buy a new family farm. Amen.
$1 at a time.
If you want to help in that endeavor, we have a very easy to find Venmo, Cash App, all that sort of stuff. If you want to drop some drops in the ocean on that for us.
Drop in the ocean. And if you're here in person, there's a tip jar here. There's tip jars at the bar for your wonderful bar staff and for Six Springs. So keep it flowing.
That's right. That's what keeps this show on the road. Well, I think that's a good opportunity to invite our first guest up to the stage. Mr. Jonathan, and I forgot your last name
Foster.
already. Foster, like the beer, like the Australian
Yeah,
beer.
that's our name.
in the
We
big
are
ass
meeting
can.
for the first time today.
Is Foster? Jonathan Foster.
Yes.
Welcome to the Hair of the Dog show.
Giving me the Price is Right announcer vibes, which is fun.
Oh, come on down.
Poncho's coming to greet.
Huh? The price is always right. Yeah,
Yeah.
look who you're asking. You know what's funny? I actually, in my early musical days and production days, I was really into heavy music. And one time, at one of my early studio projects, as I was learning to produce songs and write my own songs and record them and everything, one of the first things that I ever completed was called Bob Barker Skin Suit. And it was a pretty heavy, screamy metal song about killing Bob Barker and wearing his skin as a suit. That was what that was about. And
Took a turn.
and I'm still very proud of it to this day, because when I go back and listen to it, it's pretty good. Like the recording quality is good, it jams. But the coolest thing about it is in the intro of it, it has a little sound bite of Bob Barker going, "Come on down," or however he says it, and it just is perfect. It's probably the best. I peaked right then, actually, back then. That was the best thing I'm ever gonna make. It was a Bob Barker skin suit. Anyway, on that note, welcome Jonathan to the show. What's up, man?
Thanks for having me. Check one. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good.
Love those songs.
Thank
Appreciate you
so
guys.
much, man. I'm glad. Uh, we heard some of your songs earlier, and they sounded pretty dang cool too. I'm excited to hear a little more. But first of all, we got to do some basic introduction stuff. So I don't know if you were watching Sonny's show before this. There might be
you
some
were.
repetitions here, but that's okay. You just get to know Jonathan a little bit better. Where are you from, man? I hear you're on the road a lot, and
Yeah, I grew up in Cranberry Lake, New York, which is in northern New York State, about an hour from the Canadian border, and about an hour west of Lake Placid. And,
Okay.
But for the second half of my life, I've lived in Northern California, and I travel all around. And this is my little Texas part of the summer for 5 dates, and I'll spend about 7 months on the road this year. you know,
that's awesome, man.
Travel and play music anywhere they'll have me. So
Very
thanks for
cool.
having me.
How long have you been doing that?
This is my 10th year.
10 years of spending half the year on the road?
Give or take,
That's awesome,
Start
man.
out
Holy crap.
smaller and you grow and, figure it out.
How did starting that process go? Like, what was the jumping in kind of
Yeah.
situation on that?
10 years ago, I released my first album. That kind of, gave me a little more tools to pick and choose from. And I booked a California to New York type of trip, small tour, and to start meeting people that way and growing. And from that, and then, from this year, I'm about 100 shows in already. It's a little
Nice.
different from that year. But, just
What were the
keeping
shows
the
like that
songs
first
first.
one? Were you having to do, like, were you relying on, like, songwriter nights and open mics, or were you able to get a significant amount of, like, good, solid gigs in that very first
Yeah, those
attempt,
are-
or were you having to
those
take
were
some more
booked.
chances?
Yeah, those were booked shows.
Nice.
Playing the open mics at home and doing regional shows, growing. But having that transition from just live and mail into online presence was a whole thing about 10 years ago, and kind of tried to grow with that a little bit. It's still a tough deal, but it's amazing. Yeah, we're sitting here looking
Yeah,
at
this is a
televisions of
Beautiful
ourselves.
situation.
It's a little different 10 years ago with like just being on like MySpace and Reverb Nation, back then.
MySpace.
And
And Reverb Nation. I honestly do opine for early Reverb Nation. I think there was so
Yeah.
much potential there. They had a really nice set of tools for a while. Like, you could build a mailing list and
and that's how a lot of those first shows were booked. Too.
nice. Yeah, it was such a good tool, but it just did not work out, I guess, which is unfortunate. It still exists. I think Reverb Nation does still exist.
Yeah, I use their calendar still.
Nice.
Yeah.
That reminded me of a conversation we had earlier in the week of we were talking about Green Day being on the road for 10 years, but before all of that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, they just lived in
How
an
do
RV
you-
for 10 years, basically, with no
How
internet.
do you find places? How do you.
You got
they
to
were
cart that
Green
thing
Day.
around.
They just had like a dirty van. And,
Yeah,
and,
I think that's the biggest
a
thing is no
wish and a
internet. They
prayer.
like to be out on the road as a road dog and not have any internet. I mean, where you you get into a town and you pull up say, hey, does someone have a Yellow Pages? And you, the Kinkos. Well, to make maps, but I mean, just getting and finding venues. How do you find out? Like, I want to go play a show in Kansas City, Missouri, and I've never been there before, and there's no internet. How do you go about? I guess you find a phone book. I don't know. Yeah. I'm glad we have the internet. Let me just say that. I mean, it's a poisonous place for sure, but I'm grateful
Can
for
be.
it.
Bring us together too. So.
All right,
To hear
well,
a song.
Yeah, that was plenty of yammering.
Operator, I want to play a show in Kansas City.
Yeah, could you,
Can you connect to me?
Connect me to the live music
the
venues,
booking
please.
agent for your town, please.
Yes, Mr. Music, is he in town? Could I speak to Mr. Music or Mrs. Music, whatever, like whomever?
Depends.
Yeah.
What the era are we talking? What's the,
Yeah, I don't know.
who's in charge?
Well, why don't you play a song for us, man?
All right.
Anything you want, anything at all.
This is a song about my mental health. It's called When It Gets Dark. When it gets dark, it's when the problems start. But when it gets dark, it's when I steal your hearts. Well, I'm moving to Buffalo, further away than any place I know. Yeah, I'm moving to Buffalo. Friend there's gonna keep me warm. Yeah, I'm moving in real time. The rest of the world will be just fine. Yeah, I'm moving in light years. Stave off all these falling tears. 'Cause when it gets dark, It's when the problems start. When it gets dark, that's when I steal your hearts. And when it gets dark, all hearts, when we all feel so smart. But when it gets dark, that's when my problems start. So come and join me in Buffalo, and we'll keep you warm from the snow. But I got a favor to ask you. Let's take the train to Alaska. And by the time that we get there, we'll need to give some cash to the bears. And that way we can stand tall and go and swim with all the narwhals. 'Cause when it gets dark, oh, that's when the problems start. When it gets dark, it's when I steal your hearts. Oh, and when it gets dark, all hearts, when we all feel so smart. When it gets dark, that's when my problems start. And then we'll dry off the icicles. We'll need to go and rent 2 red bicycles. And hey, did you remember the map? Otherwise we'll never find our way back. No, did you remember the map? It's the only thing I asked, and that's a fact. Not all who wander are lost, but in this case I am so lost. When it gets dark, oh, that's when the problems start. When it gets dark, that's when I steal your hearts. Oh, and when it gets dark, all hearts, when we all feel so smart. When it gets dark, oh, that's when my problems start. And then we're going to Iceland and Greenland and the Black Forest by the Yellow River. And then we're going to the Blue Bayou and the Emerald Triangle to Timbuktu. You see, when it gets dark, you have to remember there's still 25% of unaccounted light out there in the universe, my friends. And I'll tell you what, that's a whole lot of light, man, oh day. 'Cause when it gets dark, whoa,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciated
that.
your humorous songs, and I think, man, I don't have too many humorous songs, but it's about as humorous as I can get.
Well, I like it, man. It definitely made me think, yeah, kind of the old rambling kind of vibes for sure. That was a very nice song. Did you say swimming with narwhals?
Yes.
Awesome. Have you ever seen a narwhal?
No, it's on my list. I've been to every, the mammal. The
I did
narwhal.
not believe that they were real for the longest time. I thought that like someone had pulled the wool over my eyes. I'm like, this is not a real creature. These are made up, right? And no, they're
No,
real.
They're magical.
The unicorns of the sea.
I've been to every state but Alaska, and I'm saving the narwhals in Alaska
Is that
for
where they are?
last.
Is in
Yeah,
Alaska?
yeah.
Because I thought the like north of New York. What's that big bay? Right? Is that Hampton Bay or that's up in Canada? I figured they were up in that area too.
They may be.
Between Greenland and all up in there. I would love to see a narwhal. I still don't actually. I'm not sure I'm convinced they're real. I think
I'll
that
have to ask some Newfoundlanders.
it's like some people believe the moon is not real, and that to me is lunacy. I'm pretty sure the moon's real, but narwhals, I don't know. I don't know.
Part unicorn, part sea lion,
They're cool.
part mermaid.
You've been at every state except Alaska. Oh,
Alaska.
Hawaii?
I've definitely been to Hawaii, but yeah, I've been to every
wonderful.
state but Alaska.
What's your
Yeah, so-
favorite, and why is it
I was
Texas?
thinking
Definitely
that, but then,
Texas because of the barbecue, the music, the people, and the landscape and everything. Especially you guys.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I love the Texas songwriting. I've been a big fan for a long time, and I always have a great time when I come down to Texas. I just had a night off, and I did some state park time to get out of the heat.
Which state park
And,
did you attend, or parks?
Penderales, am I going to say it wrong?
Oh,
Pedernales Falls.
Yeah,
State
we've
Park.
been there. We didn't. We
Yeah.
stopped there when we did our little like. I don't remember what trip it was. It was when we went to San Antonio when the pandemic started. We were in downtown San Antonio at some shitty little bar called Texan 2.
Oh, well,
The second one.
affectionately.
Oh yeah, if I say shitty little bar, I love that bar. If that term ever comes out of my mouth, always. But yeah, we were there when the state of emergency got declared, and then the next day, my friend has his dad has a place in Killeen, and and he was hanging out there, so we're like, oh, we'll go hang out up there, and we stopped by Pedernales, I think that's how you say it, Falls.
It was
It's
awesome.
beautiful. It's pretty dang cool.
So that was the snowstorm that you're talking about?
The
No, the
pandemic.
pandemic.
Oh, that year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Remember
goodness.
that one. We were like out, and then it got announced, and we were like, oh.
Yeah, we were out like walking around downtown San Antonio, and we kind of just like gone down there just randomly for no reason, I guess.
I don't remember
And
what.
we just wanted to get out of town. I'm like, let's go to San Antonio. And we've been hearing that, hey, there's a disease out. But we're like, we're going out. And then we were hearing a little bit and thinking about it. And then, on the TV, state of emergency.
Like, let's go to the woods now.
Yeah.
That's how I got that last song, because all the shows were canceled. So I sat out in the woods and smoked a little bit and drank
There
a
you
little
go.
bit, and then imagery of narwhals came into my brain.
Nice. Well, it worked out because that's a great song, man. And yeah, Texas does have some great state parks. We're big
And
fans.
I would say that.
Take care, guys.
I mean, wonderful thing about Texas. I think we have all types of what is it called? The types of landscape where it's like.
Like every
pra-
climate
Yeah,
or
prairie,
every type
desert.
of. Yeah, we have some mountains.
Forest, swamp.
We do have actual mountains. So like the hill country is like, I think they're like mountains, but they're called hills for stubbornness, I think probably. But
That ain't
we do
nothing
have
but a big
the
old
Franklin
hill.
Mountains is a real mountain range, and the Davis Mountains, that's a real mountain range.
Yeah.
And then we've got swamps. We got Caddo Lake is like that's the only natural lake in Texas, and it's a state park. And it was formed by an earthquake 10,000 years ago or something. But it's a legitimate swamp with cypress trees. And then you've got your high desert.
The high plains.
Yeah, and if you're go to Tyler State Park and tell me that's not the jungle. Yeah, well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you have an appreciation for our nature. I feel like there is beautiful nature and there's every kind of it, but it's all a little scaled down. It's like we got mountains, but it's not like in the Rocky Mountains or the Sierra
got 'em.
Nevada
We
or
got
whatever.
'em.
But what?
I said we got them.
We do got them.
We got 'em.
We got beaches, technically. I mean. Not many of them can compete with the real beaches, but we
It's
do
a
have them.
real beach.
No, I love Texas, but man, if I was in Northern California, I'd be hard pressed to pry myself away. Where in Northern California? How north?
Halfway between Medford, Oregon, and Sacramento, California, is a city called Redding in
Okay.
Shasta County. So we're inland, but the north end of the Central Valley, so way up in the northern 10th,
Right.
basically the state, and then
that's-
a couple hours inland from the ocean where the water is very, very cold. You
Yes.
don't go swimming really unless without a wetsuit.
That is a beautiful part of the world.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I was this whole time I've also been trying to think of a song to play.
We're gonna give Jonathan another
Yeah,
go.
I'll give Jonathan another song. How about that? Because I don't know of a song to play yet. So why don't you
Alright.
play us another song, man?
Let's do a song about the hills and the mountains then.
Yes,
Perfect.
please.
And I forgot to tell you guys, you're welcome to play along if you hear something that you like.
Okay.
I
This
might
is a
pick
B
along.
flat, the People's Key.
I tend to find myself just enjoying the songs so much that, like, once in a while I've picked around a little bit, but I just, I'm usually like, oh man, this song's killer. I just want to sit and listen. But thank you for the invitation.
Shades of fall running the boundary mile, while the subtle bite of winter, it lines your eyes to the first hint of spring's warm summer skies. Old Caden shouts out to the mountain, and we recited all the words to gymnasium songs, dancing in the dark till it was time to go home. Old cream-colored halls with a cigarette queue. Never stepped inside again. I gave it all to you. Never-ending time, fleeting light, falling stars in the shadow of the mountain echo. maybe greener fields are out there to find. When the hills can be the hardest mountains to climb. Daydreams of leaving we would ride for hours, while the longest days they'd seem to go on forever. And what we're searching for may have always been there. I once had the faith, but in the end didn't care. Never-ending time, fleeting light, falling stars in the shadow of the mountain echo. Maybe greener fields they're out there to find. But when the hills can be the hardest mountains to climb, oh, hills can be the hardest mountains to climb. Now an eagle flies on by, Hiawatha's ghost, like a gentle fog rising above those fields below. And the mountains leave behind will still be there when we're older. Oh, for the next ones to hold. Never-ending time, fleeting light, falling stars in the shadow of the mountain echo. Maybe greener fields they're out there to find. When the hills can be the hardest mountains to climb. Oh, hills can be the hardest mountains to climb. Yes, hills can be the hardest mountains to climb.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Thank you. Man, that was a really nice song. That fits nicely into my the Texas hill country. It is. Those are mountains. That is some rugged terrain out there, but it just gets called hills. Like I know that your song was more based in metaphor, but literally there's some rugged hills out there, and there's like, oh, those are like mountains. But, no, it's a very nice song, man. It did make me think of a song to play though. This is a song that it's not entirely about nature, but it certainly has some of that imagery in there and touches on it. It's called Clarendon. Have you been to Clarendon? It's just this side of Amarillo. If you're going to Amarillo from here, it's like 2 towns before you get there, like an hour this side of Amarillo. It's called Clarendon. I don't know if that's how they say it or not. I've never stopped long enough to ask anyone how to say it.
There's some canyons there.
Some canyons?
Canyons.
Oh, there are canyons there. Yeah. We actually got married in the canyons nearby there, the Caprock Canyon State Park.
Caprock. Yeah.
Very familiar.
Beautiful.
And then, Paladuro's up there in Amarillo. We tried to go to Paladuro, but we came from Arches in Utah, and we drove straight through to Amarillo to get to Paladuro, and we had been camping at Arches, and maybe we got a little bit of a late start, and we didn't do all our research, and most parks don't have gates. That seems to be kind of a uniquely Texan thing in our experience so far, is state parks having gates. And so we had a campsite booked at Paladuro, and we arrived there after a 14-hour drive
To a gate.
to a closed and locked gate that had a code that would open it that we did not know. The ranger's house was right outside the gate.
We'll call them out. but
and we banged on their
lesson
door,
learned.
at 11:30 at night, and they ignored us entirely. And then someone even was coming in. Someone drove in and opened the gate, but we were outside of our car and had our car parked there, kind of in the little parking lot next to it or whatever. And so there wasn't enough time for us to try to follow them behind. But we were like, hey, can we get the gate code? We arrived late. We just drove 14 hours. We arrived late. We didn't know that there was a gate. Sorry, we didn't do our research or whatever. We don't know the code. I even had a piece of paper with my reservation on it to show them. And I was like, hey, we're supposed to be here. And they would not give us the code, and they would not let us in. And so we went and got a hotel room.
Oh, no.
And then we drove home the next day, not seeing Paladuro Canyon.
I saw that gate on the state park I was just at, but it was open during the day. I
It's
got
open
it.
during the day, but yeah, a lot of times they'll close them. The ones that have them, they close after 10, and they always have a code, and
Lesson
they'll give you the
learned,
code
boys
if
and
you call
girls.
ahead and ask, hey, I'm gonna come late. What's the code? They'll tell you, but we didn't do that. Live and learn. Anyway, here's a song called Clarendon about that part of the world. It's actually called Clarendon, My Darling.
It's not a love song.
Not exactly. All right. Clarendon is a town I've driven through many times. Its streets are all lined with big PVC crosses and ramshackle nickel and dimes. The police there aren't very friendly, and I've been stopped a time or two. But the law, the church, and the madness, they won't stop us from making it through. And Clarendon, my darling, and Clarendon, my friend, I'll see you in hell if we aren't already there, but it's all the same in the end. These planes can get pretty lonesome, so we stay as high as we can. And through the elevation, sickness, loss, and all that we've witnessed, till it brings us right back here again. To Clarendon, my darling, Clarendon, my friend, I'll see you in hell if we aren't already there, but it's all the same in the end. Oh, but the hills aren't far away, and this blankness will give soon to valleys and views of impossible heights, stunning dark nights, and the promise of another bright day. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, but Clarendon, my darling, Clarendon, my friend, I'll see you in hell if we aren't already there, but it's all the same in the end. All right. appreciate it. So yeah, you got to go through Clarendon to get to the Rocky Mountains, and that's kind of the whole point of it. It's like I want to be there, but I got to be here for a minute, so I might as well think about it, I guess, at least.
While we were learning lessons earlier, when you go through there, drive the speed limit. Do
Slow
that
down.
anyways. But if you're ever were even thinking, well, I just want to get through this town, don't
No.
do it.
I like going fast too, but they'll slow you all the way down, and it's better to slow down a little than have to just, or stay the night. Nope. Don't need it. All right. Well, we do have another guest, and but honestly, I love your songs, and I'm enjoying. I would love to hear one more song from you, if that's cool. If you're down to play one more song, but I also want to ask, what's your next couple weeks look like? Where are you going to be? What are you excited about?
Yeah, I'll be finishing up my summer tour by the end of the month. Well, the first leg. So I have two summer tours basically. This is June through July. This is from California to New York, and everything in between. So in the next 2 weeks, I'm here tomorrow night here at Spring.
Come out to Six Springs
Six
Tavern
Springs
tomorrow
Tavern.
night, y'all. Monday.
Happy hour show.
Come get your cheap
5:30.
drinks, hear this man's beautiful songs, show some support. Come out tomorrow.
And then I've got Mississippi up to Nashville to North Carolina, and then 3 shows in West Virginia next weekend. Nice. And then after that, I'll be up in the Mid-Atlantic states like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and close it out in my hometown on Sunday, July 30th. And then I'll take 3 weeks off, visit my family, play a couple of local shows. Come on up. Oh.
Come here, bud.
And then the second leg of the summer tour starts about the third week in August. I'll do New England and then come back through the Midwest, come back down to Texas in September,
Okay.
and then back to California, Oregon by the third week in October.
Are you coming back
So
through Dallas in September?
it's a good question. I know I have Abilene again. Do I have the Dallas area? I don't know off the top of my head, but I hope so.
Oh, well, if you do,
And if I
drop
have
us a
an open-
line, man. We'll do
Yeah, if I
something.
have an open date, I'll let you know. Or if I have Abilene in my head, but I know there's more than that.
Right.
I think I have Conroe, which is Houston area,
Yeah.
and there's got to be at least. There's always more than 2, because Texas has so many great music venues and places. And
Well, please shout at us
Like
if you are coming through this area,
folks
even if it's a night off or anything like
Have
that.
entire
good.
careers just in Texas, just going
Right.
around.
Yeah, that's true. That's what they say, anyway. Well, what you got for us?
I'll see if I might chime in.
it's called Stardust Saltwater. Well, she walks like a pixie, talks like a ghost, must feel so lonely driving alone, but her sundress is flowing, her hat a go, a perfect day planned with nowhere to go. Stardust, saltwater, oh, someone's son or daughter. So I hit the last side, the lottery winnings just comma points. Summer storms passing and we'll light a fire until stories of good times, echoes, pine needles dance in the sky. Stardust, saltwater, oh, someone's son or daughter. Stardust, saltwater, oh, someone's son or daughter. And what I know and believe to be true, I'm living in light, insanity, like there's 500 KVs making your teeth bleed. Stardust, saltwater, eternity. Stardust, saltwater, oh, someone's son or daughter. Stardust, saltwater, and someone's son or daughter. sound of the streams, sleep like a baby, go and eat like a king. And there's no better place in this whole world to be than up in these mountains, clearing your brain. Stardust, salt water, someone, son or daughter. Stardust, salt water, someone, son or daughter. Well, he walks like a pixie, talks like he's free. Must feel so lonely sitting under this tree with his dirty feet soaking, his hat a green, one perfect day canceled, living this dream. Stardust, salt water, someone, son or daughter. Stardust, salt water, and someone, son or daughter. And I am the richest person you know. I'm a privilege of wonder like silver gold, never feeling so small. The canyon's walls, drum roll of thunder. Thank you, Alice. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for being here.
It's wonderful. All right, well, real quick, before we let you go, let everyone know how they can find you on the internet and stuff, or your Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, those sorts of places.
You bet. Anywhere you find music out there, at Jonathan Foster Music or www.jonathanfostermusic.com or jfmusic.net. They both go to the same place. But
Nice.
yeah, find me wherever you find music. I'm there singing to you. I got a bunch of albums, and I'm active on the Instagram and the Facebook these days for sure. Yeah. Thank
Awesome.
you guys for having me on.
Yeah,
You
thank
guys
you
are
again so much for
beautiful
being our
music.
guest. And
Wonderful to meet you.
y'all, again, tomorrow, Monday. What else? Nothing's good's going on Mondays, so come here, because that's something good going on. Come here and listen to this man's songs and get you some drink specials and all that sort of stuff. All right, we'll do a song right. We have another guest that we're going to bring up here, but we'll play a little song while we do the kind of the behind-the-scenes changeover, you know, so it'll be seamless. If I weren't saying anything about it, it would be seamless anyway.
It's the movie magic.
Let's do that time and place.
Okay.
It's been a long time coming and a short time waiting. Spent my last $12 on a dream that's fading. Can't remember what it was, but man, I hope it pays. And we've been driving too far for too many days, losing our minds in too many ways. We got turned around some way back, but full steam ahead. But won't you sit by me for a minute or two? We can let our minds wander with nothing to do. And I'll sit right here as long as you'll have me. And I hope you'll have me. Well, days are fading fast and the nights won't end. I haven't slept sound since I don't know when. This self-medication really takes its toll on me. And the air days burn around this city. Never thought my outlook could be quite so shitty, but we just keep on laughing it off. And And won't sit by me for a minute or two. We can let our minds wander, nothing to do. And I'll sit right here as long as you'll have me. And I hope you'll have me. So days I don't know if I'm up or down. I try to sit real still and not make a sound. I want to hear the words the world is singing to me. But the noise of industry's taking hold. It drowns out the magic wherever we go. But the productivity will get us today. No way! It won't sit by me for a minute or two. We can let our minds wander, nothing to do. And I'll sit right here as long as you'll have me. And I hope you'll have me. It won't sit by me for a minute or two. We can let our minds wander, nothing to do. And I'll sit right here just as long as you'll have me. And I hope you'll have me. Oh. Yeah. Thanks for having us, y'all. All right. Well, once again, you are tuned into the Hair of the Dog show with Jacob and Alice Zaz. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here in person if you're here in person. If you're not here in person, but you are tuning in and you're local to the area, next week you should definitely make plans to come out to the Six Springs Tavern on Sunday and hang out with us. It's a great day of brunch and infused drinks and good music and, you know, a lot of yammering from musicians.
Chitting and chatting and this and that'n.
That's right. And speaking of that, we have our second guest. So y'all make some noise for our good friend, David Joshua.
Halito.
What's up, David?
Nothing much. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Pretty good, man.
Today's theme is friends new and old.
Yeah, chilling here on
go.
this couch,
Yeah.
singing songs. It's hard to do better than that, right?
It's very hard to do better. I mean, then you got the poncho.
Oh,
And then we had Jonathan Forster here. He was like, Foster.
Foster,
Jonathan
yep.
Foster. And he's like serenading
Get
us
it.
with beauty and wonder of all them travels. And
He was
Quite
great,
something
right?
else.
I loved those songs. Those were super nice.
I might be poking my head in here on Monday, see
Yeah, I
what's
probably
going
will.
on.
I'll probably be out delivering food during the day, and I'll probably find myself in this area about 5 o'clock and needing a beer, and I'll just have to pop right on it. Poncho, lay down. Come on, bud. be a good host. Come on. Anyway, how are you, David? How's your day going?
that's all right. I was down in Corsicana leading worship for my birth father's church down there. And so they need live worship every now and then, and I offered to do so. I mean, if you play guitar and sing, you may as well. And so I was doing that, hung out with them for a bit, and then came up here to good old Six Springs Tavern here in Richardson, Texas, to hang out with the Zazzes and the Poncho.
We're very glad you did that. Thanks for making that drive.
Well, thank you for having me. I mean,
How did the service go? How did?
it went well, actually. Yeah, it was an interesting service. It's I always akin it to like doing a show. Like when you play, sometimes your first song or your first moment, you're kind of like reading the crowd, going, I don't know how this is gonna go. But then once you hit that spot, that moment, and then it's like, oh wow, we're really taking off. Like this is okay. We're all together. This is good.
That's awesome.
So it's kind of it's unity, right? It's nice to feel that peaceful unity between people.
Yeah, the power of song and brings us together, lets us forget about some of the other stuff going on, you know, that
Yeah.
maybe we don't got to be thinking about all the time. And
Indeed,
Or
indeed.
come together on it if we're all thinking about it. And
that's
just
true. That's another. Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
it. This is a different environment from a church. You are there are these prop
Oh, this
lamps
is-
and stuff, and a.
This is my second
this is-
church. I like these churches too.
That's true. I think that's probably what I was gonna get at
That's-
some point. Was like it's kind of the same thing. It's different. It's definitely different, but I think a bar and a church have a lot more in common than they have not in common. I think as far as what they aim to do, or at least the kind of experience that you might be able to have in one. You know,
Yeah.
I've certainly had spiritual experiences in bars.
Oh yeah.
So There's a car alarm going off, but it's not mine, so
We're just adding to the music.
yeah. Well, why don't you play a song for us, man? That's a nice icebreaker, right?
Yeah, that's always a good icebreaker.
That's what we're here for.
It's a good idea. I was thinking with it being like kind of laid back, I'd do something more laid back because as y'all have seen me, I've seen y'all play live and all that kind of thing, and generally upstanding and like all like hacking at the guitar.
This is a different vibe for sure. The laid back
I like
thing.
this though. I like
Our
this a
first
lot.
guest, Eric, who we love very much, he was like, "What? I have to sit down? Like that's not." If you've ever seen like a performance of like Justin Townes Earl, where he's just moving around. That's kind of how Eric is, and he's like, "What? You want me to sit and play? Like, But
That's I've been adjusting to playing fiddle while sitting, and then I'll practice at different open mics from time to time. I'll pull up a chair and be like, all right, especially if the singer is also sitting. I'll be like, okay, I'll give sitting a go, and
it's a different vibe.
yeah.
There you go.
We tend to stand when we play. We like to stand and be dancing around and everything. But we're just chilling on the B side today, you know.
Chilling. Chilling like a villain. Okay, you can kick me off now. What I'll do is I'll do the title track for my latest record, which was recorded at the Kitchen Studios in Dallas, Texas. It was produced by the legendary Jess Spires, drummed by Mark Brewer, and I believe Orion Pitts of Justin Pickard and the Thunderbird Winos. He did the fiddles.
Gosh, I just love every name you're saying.
Yeah,
right now.
it's
Oh
just
my God.
juices.
Those
And
are all
so,
just beautiful people.
if you want to hear the full band version, it's totally fine. I love it. If you want to hear the full band version of it, you can check out Spotify, iTunes, all that, davidjoshua.net. But this here is the stripped down, super sexy version of Northern Horizon. So the sun, it set right where Moses wept, where he struck the rock. Now don't you cry. Native saint, he came to take our blame. How did we repay? We set him up in Northern Horizon, Northern Horizon. Don't go blind, sober your mind. When I see your face, all things fall to place. To be damned or to be saved in Northern Horizon, Northern Horizon. Don't go blind, sober your mind in Northern Horizon, Northern Horizon. Don't go blind, sober your mind. Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful. Where did that song come from?
Thank you.
Sonny's a fan.
Sonny's a fan. Thank you. Thank you so much, son.
Gets the Sonny seal of approval.
Well, thank you. I have to admit, the entire time I'm looking down, I see an Altoid box. And I'm like, ooh, we got ourselves an Altoid box. That's neat. Where did that song come from?
Yeah.
Is that what you asked?
That is what I asked.
That's
if
a
you don't mind.
dangerous
I mean,
question to ask.
The ether.
We're digging in. We're digging in, you know?
Came from the ether.
It's one
Well,
of Poncho's hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, he whispered it to me to ask. He wanted me
So-
to ask.
I'll say I went through a divorce, and it came up out of that whole like it's like being in a storm in an ocean, and just things started coming when I would just strum, and so it would just come out, and so it was one of those songs that came, and it's taken about a few years to figure out what it means. Have you ever had that where you write a song and you're like, you got to get your decoder ring and start going back, and so that's I think where it came from. It really was kind of this, it deals kind of with the first verse of that Old Testament Moses part, and then the second verse like the New Testament Christ part. But then there's this call for whatever you're destined for, to keep focus on what's important. And then there's that personalized verse in the third where it's like, when I see something beautiful, when I see like what I believe to be the face of God, it puts everything to place, that no matter what's gone wrong, what I've done wrong, what others have done wrong, it just puts everything to place. So it's a song that really, hopefully, I don't know if that answers your question or if it's too much, but it really does the whole like, remember what's important, and don't forget that, and keep going.
Stay the course.
Stay the course.
Survive the
Kinda.
storm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's a beautiful song. It's
Thank you.
Beautiful inspiration too, like where it came from and your thought process behind it is, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I kind of had some version of this question in mind, and that kind of fleshes it out a little bit more for me. I think the question is this. So I know we know you personally, and we know not very well. You're kind of you're a bit enigmatic, a little bit. So I don't feel like I know you all that well, but I always enjoy spending time with you. And we've heard you play a lot, and I've heard a lot of your songs. And I know that you're a very, your faith is a big part. Like you just came from leading a worship service today, and I know that your music is, it's not exactly secular music, I guess. And I'm curious if if there is a presiding or dominant feeling between like telling your own story in your songs versus, maybe not versus, but or having a larger kind of worldly message that's related to your specific, like, is one of those more important to you, or do you find yourself leaning more on your own stories and wanting to tell your own story and put that into song, or are you more focused on kind of the larger I guess ideas and stuff that maybe those things are inspired by still, of course, but like, again, I hear the spirituality in your music, and I hear that you are singing about these very large themes, but I always wonder kind of how much those things are, those songs in specific are tied into your life and telling your own story, and if you balance those, or if you're cognizant of balancing those two things, or what that means to you.
So I'll put it the best way I can. I'm probably I'm a mindless ape that is like stumbling through life. So I don't really know how to answer that. Yeah, like like I said, I think a lot of times most of my songs come from writing it from maybe experience, but not being aware of where they're coming from or where they're going. And it isn't until years later, until somebody comes to me and is like, "Hey, I really believe this is what that song means," or whatever. And so like, like whatever I conclude it means doesn't necessarily mean that's what it means. But then, like if I sit down and try to write a song about a specific subject, I tend to I tend to throw it out. I'm like, that's, what am I doing? Like, this is, so.
I understand that.
Yeah. Sleepwalking. How about that? That's a kinder way of putting it. I sleepwalk.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
my favorite songs of mine are definitely the ones that just like flow out. And
There
it
you
did make
go.
me think of a song that we'll play. It's one that we haven't practiced very much, so we'll see how it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one we do a whole lot, but it's a song that I wrote a long time ago, and it is one of those that like when I wrote it, I don't know that I knew what the hell I was talking about. Really, it was just like here's a set of feelings, here's a set of words that came easily that I liked how they sounded and everything, and then throughout my life, in the time since I probably wrote it 8 years ago or something like 8 or 9 years ago, and it's meant very different things to me since then, and it's one of those that I feel like I get to like rediscover. So that inspired it, or your statement inspired the idea to play this song. It's called it's a fiddle song, and it's in C, and it's what's it called? Days Spent Better. That one. We have done this one a little bit. It's been something we've kind of been reintegrating into the list. It's from my past songwriting life.
Let's see, Pancho was stomping on a couple of these things down here, so I'll make sure that I'm not blasting you.
Everything's still set.
Yeah, there's some sounds.
An exchange of words, like cold long dances, like midnight glances in spite of ourselves. It's the damn cold weather and a day spent better than those back when friends could fight and the end didn't matter at all to us. We didn't have the vision to be what we imagined, and it all came crashing down. All around us fell to the bottom where nobody found us, laying in a hole as deep as we weren't, for all of the lessons we only ever half learned. Fill your lungs with the smoke and sorrow of a star-crossed lover and hold it in as if we didn't ever need to take another breath. Just breathe a long deep sigh of nothing like relief and shake it off. It's not like it ever mattered in the first place, and it all came crashing down. All around us fell to the bottom, and nobody found us, laying in a hole as deep as we were, for all of the lessons we only ever half learned. And wait just a minute, don't walk away quite yet. Maybe this isn't the best it'll ever get. And if you don't have the time to spend with me, I guess I'll just have to wait around and see. And it all came crashing down. All around us fell to the bottom where nobody found us, laying in a hole as deep as we were in, for all of the lessons we only ever have learned. Thank you.
That was awesome.
Well, thanks.
Smoke us again.
Smoke is king?
No, smoke us again.
Oh.
That was good. That was
Thank you,
good.
man. I appreciate it.
I had oh, go ahead. Well, some thoughts about the conversation from earlier about the songs that either grow on you or if they're telling a broader story or if it's personal or something. And having heard that song for as long as you've written it too, and it changing over time, it's hard to describe. It's almost like sometimes with songwriting, you can paint a broader picture, or you are trying to be very specific, but it ends up being broad, and that's how things can relate to other people. It's like a lot of these same stories over and over, where it ends up meaning different things to you. And I mean, songs are a living, breathing thing. They can grow as we grow, and I don't know.
I think writing very specifically is often the best way to paint a broad picture. Like telling a very, like, this is the situation that I was in. And I'm sure there was kind of some situation that inspired that song, maybe. Again, it was early, and when I was kind of just exploring language more, and maybe didn't have so many stories to tell. But it is rooted in, like, a specific interaction. And I do find, like, yeah, the things that resonate most deeply sometimes are quite specific. You know, if you write, it's like you say, if you're trying to, if, like, I'm gonna write a song about this thing, and you sit down, and some people can really, really do that, and I have had luck doing that before. You know, I've written songs that I like where I was like, I'm gonna write about this situation, but it might have been that I was just ready at that point to write about that situation, and it was still rooted in a personal story or something. And I think that is a nice way to write. It definitely seems to have some resounding stuff. It's like you'll hear a song and be like, what the hell are they talking about? But it still hits you, and you know that it was like rooted in very specific things to them, but it still takes on that broader thing. I think that's a nice thing to achieve in a song.
Yeah.
I think you achieve that pretty well frequently. Why don't you give us another one? Unless you have any commentary you want to throw in, feel free. This is an open forum.
My commentary is best found in my songs, I guess. Alice, did you want to jump in on violin on one of these, or?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. What do we got up?
Do you remember "Come Away"?
Oh, yes.
Would that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. That's
So,
in
and
G,
I think it's in the key of A.
Oh, okay.
I'm so terrible with keys, but I do like the black keys. So, and the dead keys. Shout out to the dead keys.
Shout out.
Shout out to the.
So we've got at least 3 references to Just Spires and at least 2 references to the Dead Keys
Gotta keep 'em
already this
coming.
episode.
So
If anyone's keeping score.
this song, again, was written in a very dark, broken place. Originally written on the piano, but somehow I transferred it to the guitar. The guitar. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
And we're working on it in the studio, the kitchen studios, and we should have it out one day, Lord willing. But this is "Come Away, Beloved," and I'll try not to move around too much.
Do whatever you want.
In the wasteland of your own choosing, you gather up your broken pieces. You look for another trail to blaze amidst the dirt and the haze. The rain pours down from on Calvary. I listen for the sound of your melody. Everything within me has to bleed. Does it have to bleed? I hear you sing, come away, come away, come away. Beloved, come away. Don't you know that you are loved? right from heaven's gates. I hear your calling right from heaven's gates. The heavens above me turn to fire, drawing me to my death. And therein lies my final hour, where I bereave you with my breath. The rain pours down from on Calvary. I shout out loud for your mercies. Everything within me has to bleed. Does it have to bleed? I hear you sing, come away, come away, come away. Beloved, come away. Now don't you know that you are loved more than you could ever know? Oh, oh, no, and you reach down from way on high. I'm awestruck, awestruck. Come away, come away, come away, beloved, come away. Don't you know that you are loved more than you could ever know? Oh, I hear your calling right from heaven's gates. 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 Thank you.
What Sonny said.
Thank you. That was Come Away.
It's a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank
truly.
you.
It's one of my favorites of yours, I think.
Thank you.
It's a very, very, very nice song. What's your songwriting trajectory been like? When did you start writing songs, or when did you like start putting songs together and feel like you were really proud of them? And maybe what were some of the influences that kind of helped along that journey as well?
So, long story short, I saw this girl I liked.
I've been there.
And this was the first one I wrote that I thought was amazing. Titled it Winter Glow. And it was, you were the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life, if there ever was such a thing. So, like, that was the first one, and I was 15, if I recall, 14 or 15, thereabouts.
Nice.
So, just to give you an idea.
What were you listening to a lot at that time? What would have been your go-tos as a 15-year-old?
Oh man, I was a mixed bag. So surprise, surprise, I was really into rap. I loved hip hop and R&B. I really enjoyed Outkast. I was big into Lil Wayne and like Eminem and all that stuff. So I was there, but I was also getting into things like the alternative rock stuff. You know, like it was that group Glycerin and
Bush.
Yeah, Bush, Foo Fighters, and all that. So I was getting to that, and I actually about that time had just heard. I heard what sounded to me at the time anyway the most beautiful sound. It was this man singing like this rock opera, and this guitar that was chiming that stood out from all the other guitars I'd ever heard up to that point in my life. And there was this string arrangement that was going, and he sang, and the way he sang, it almost sounded like he was singing for heaven to come to earth. And it was one love, one life, you know, and I was just like, whoa, what is this? I later found out that was U2, and also found out a lot of people don't like that band, but, yeah, whatever. To me, I was homeschooled.
I like that song, all right.
Yeah, but, you know, that to me was kind of out there. So it was a mixture of, like, rap, alternative rock, and whatever that rock was, and going on.
Had you been playing music in church your whole life, or was that kind of a new thing at the time too? Did you pick what brought you to pick up the guitar?
Well, funny story. So as a boy, I always wanted to play guitar, sing, and be like the front man to the biggest worship band ever. Seriously, like my earliest memory was I wanted to sing for Jesus and be the biggest, you know, worship singer or whatever. As everyone knows, you know, life goes on. Even as a child, things happen, and you get a little messed up. And so I went from being like a very outgoing, outspoken boy to being very quiet and secluded. I was told, you can't play guitar, you have to learn piano first. So I was like, okay, which is actually a good thing. So I learned the piano, and then I wanted to learn guitar after that, but I wasn't allowed to, so I had to then learn a different instrument, and that was a trumpet, I think it was, which I actually played the trumpet on the Northern Horizon song, for those of you who listen to the
I
full
did
band
not know you
version.
played trumpet. That's awesome.
Well, I quote-unquote play the trumpet now. Then I really play the trumpet. So I desired to write motion picture tracks and all this. I was like 12, 13, 14 when that stuff was going on. And eventually the desire to play guitar and really sing started coming out again. For whatever reason, it kind of came up and came down. Like, it would come up and I'd be like, no, I can't do that. I'm not good enough for that. You know, I even got to the point where I didn't even want to I didn't want anybody to hear my voice. I didn't want them to even hear my speaking voice. I wanted to find a way to get through life without ever having to say a word. I hated the sound of my voice. I didn't want to hear it. And I really hated myself as a kid. I was very, long story short, very depressed. But eventually, after hearing some of this music, I was like, okay, I'm going to sing. Like, I'm going to figure this out. And I remember I was practicing with a trumpet player from UT, and he said, do this, David. I want you to sing for me, because this can help with playing your notes. So he had me sing. He said, no, sing properly. And so I sang properly, and he was like, you have a really good voice. Like, you should go to choir or something. And I was just like, sure, like, whatever. Like, I didn't believe him. But it started something. And so I started singing, and I was like, you know, maybe I should just pick up a guitar and try to figure it out. We had guitars growing up laying around the house. So I grabbed a guitar, and I started learning the best I could. I just couldn't figure it out. I think I was about 14, 15, yeah, because that was one of the first songs, Winter Glows, one of the first I ever wrote. And I remember my brother, he taught me chords, but, like, I just couldn't get it. It just wouldn't happen. And I got so depressed and so angry with God, and I was just like, God, you know, why'd you give me this desire to do this? Would you please help me play guitar? I fell asleep that night. The next day I got up. I kid you not. I picked up the guitar and I could play it. I cannot explain it. Like, for whatever reason, I could play it. And, you know, my rhythm wasn't the best and all that, but it just developed. I found a place to start, and I just, whatever. So I don't know if that answers your question. I know that's a long answer to that.
That's a beautiful answer. It was wonderful.
But ever since then, it was basic picking stuff and basic chords and stuff. But, yeah, I started writing and recording about 15, 14, 16 in that realm. And
well, my hat is off to your friend who asked you to sing for him and let you know that you had a great voice, because you do have an astounding voice. You have a tremendous range, in fact.
Thanks.
Your low to high range is a unique thing. That's uncommon, and you have a really, really fantastic voice, and that's awesome.
It's all a cover.
Well, yeah, we're all just faking it, so we know that.
We
yeah.
Well, either way, the Peanut Gallery is a big fan, so that's good.
Thank you.
I agree with her. You are
She's
definitely
got
main character.
energy.
That's right.
Yeah.
I always thought I was
We're
the
all
bad
main
man that
characters
walked
around
out,
here.
but-
Everyone's a main character if you
You're
decide
Six
to be.
Springs, you're a main character.
You know,
Yeah.
we're all main characters and NPCs. I think that's
Oh,
actually
yeah.
my simulation theory. Is
Like
like
being-
there are times when I'm like, I am being a total NPC
Oh,
right now.
yes. Yeah.
I like it.
And there's
like
nothing I can do about it.
going
It's
to
fine.
the grocery store and be like, I'm just getting my things, I'm doing that,
Yeah.
and then that's it. But then give me a microphone. star of the show.
Oh. Well, why don't you play some more music for us, if you don't mind?
Absolutely. Do you want to play one more or just?
I don't know. We'll see. It's
Oh, is it
open-ended.
open-ended?
No, at least one more after this one, because
At least one more.
we're gonna play another, and we'll probably talk a little more, and then we'll do our closing ones. How's that sound? So
That
give us
sounds-
2 more songs. Give us one right now.
2 more, 1 more, 2 more, 1 more. Wonder if I should do that one or not. I didn't plan this far ahead, guys.
We didn't plan anything, so it's all good.
In good company.
We don't do that around here.
So if you can dig and dive deep into the realm of the internet that has been forgotten, there's an album that I put out back in 2013 titled Art of Insanity. The idea that our insanity is actually art, and just go with it. And there's a song I wrote titled Home. It's a very folky time in my life. And it is written around the idea that, I don't know about anybody else out there, but I'm always trying to find home. Where is home? What is home? And, and for me, back to the faith thing, like I found that wherever God's love is, that's my home. My home is wherever his love is permeating. And so, so this song is titled Home, and it's almost like he's whispering over me these words to be encouraged that you're home, right? And then the singer's response. Fear not, there's nothing here to fear. Keep calm your faith, be strong, my dear. What love wills is our home. What love wills is our home. Kiss me, tell me reason to stay. Whisper forever song each day. What love wills is our home. What your love wills is our home. What your love wills is our home. What your love wills is our home. Sweet home. You and I, we've been named. We've been named. You and I, we've been named, forever named. What love wills is our home. What your love wills is our home. Rum ba da da dum ba ba dum bum ba.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was beautiful. that made me think of a song that I want to play. I know it's not your favorite one to play, but I want to do it anyway because it just inspired it. It's called The Demolition. Is that all right? Are you down to play that song? This is also a song about home.
I enjoy playing this. I really enjoy playing it with the band.
Yeah, we have a band, by the way. It's still just David on the screen, so you're going to have to speak back everything that I say, David.
Well,
Jacob and Alice have a brilliant and amazing, phenomenal band that you have got to check out.
Man, you're killing it. Keep it up.
Jacob, Zaz, and the Loose Ends.
That's right.
And I'm telling you what, they're amazing as a duo, but if you want to get your ass kicked in the right way, you come out here. Is it Six Springs? You're coming to Six Springs?
Yes,
this Friday night.
Oh.
You be here. Because whether you're here or not, you're going to be square. So you might as well be here and enjoy the fabulous, phenomenal, fantastical sounds of Jacob Zaz and the Loose Ends, because they are absolutely wonderful. Jacob.
Thank you, David, for that glowing, glowing recommendation.
Official hype man.
Now if we can get our wonderfully beautiful, talented,
fantastic
director and engineer, Keaton, to open up the camera so that they can see more than just David, so that we can play our little song.
I'll start singing Johnny Cash if you don't.
Which Keaton is he's running this whole thing. Keaton is such a talented engineer, and he learned to be a video director as well in order to accommodate all these changes, and that's very impressive because I don't know how to do any of that shit, and I am specifically resistant to learning it, in fact. So my hat's off to Keaton. Everyone make some noise for Keaton. Let's give a little round of applause here for Keaton, because he's a bad motherfucker, and we appreciate the hell out of him. So here's a home song.
Well, we talked about this last week and a little bit earlier about tipping the staff at Six Springs and maybe a little bit of band too, but I hear tell that soundmen also accept.
Soundmen love tips. Are you kidding me?
Wow,
Oh, it's
that's
so
the news
good.
to me. Yeah, it's just,
Because it's less common too when you're running sound, which if you don't run sound or you haven't, running sound is a whole ass job, and it's kind of the key thing that makes a show go over well is a decent sound man. Like a good band is important, but a good sound man can honestly make a mediocre band sound pretty good.
Could make or break you. Yep.
So
make an excellent band sound like
you
oof.
can in fact
If you're
tip
going the
the
other
sound
way.
guy. If you're like, hey, I'm at the concert and it sounds good as hell, you just walk your ass over to that sound booth and be like, hey man, here's $20, keep it up, and they're gonna appreciate that so much, and you should do that. So that's our glowing endorsement. We're also gonna have Keaton back as a guest one of these days and bring back our nerd minute and talk about some technical stuff. But
Tech talk.
we're figuring out our format. This is just the beginning. But here's a song called The Demolition that I'd like to share. It's about this is about home also, but it's a little different take on it. A house comes down like any other thing that stood neglected in time, long since worn out of its old uses and long since ran out of life. At first resilient despite its suffering, old strength is strength still. With small attacks from all of its companions firing out at will to tear down structure so familiar with joys and pains and conflicts. The walls come down, it comes down easy in a dramatic dusty fit. The land that brought us such loss and prosper will see prosper again, with new hands to tend its pastures, unaware of to tear down structure so familiar with joys and pains and conflict. When the walls give in, it comes down easy in a dramatic dusty fit. And the spot remains from where we once stood, evidence of what's been real. But it fades away with every season. The land like flesh begins to heal. Thank you.
Wait a minute on that one.
It has been a minute. That was called The Demolition.
My hat's
And-
off to you.
My dad and I tore down the house that I grew up in, and I wrote that song about. So that was actually an example of sitting down and writing a song about a specific topic, but I waited until it was right to do it, so it flowed easily, I guess. But that's what that one was about. And yeah, home is a mysterious thing. Honestly, Six Springs, right here where we're sitting, is represents home. Certainly a big chunk of home for me. So and the people that we know and love that hang around here also are a big part of home. And that includes you, David.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for being that. And thank you for being on our show, man, and sharing your songs with us. They're beautiful songs, and you sing them beautifully, and we appreciate it very much.
Well, thank you, sir.
Any closing thoughts? You already said where people can find you, but do you have anything coming up that people should be looking out for?
I intend on hiding like a hermit for a while until I get this other song out.
Right
So
on.
that's basically it.
Cool. It's the Cartman strategy.
Yeah.
That's obscure. I guess there's one episode. I don't watch South Park anymore. It lost me at some point. But there was one episode where Cartman somehow was able to purchase an amusement park. And he said, no one can come to the amusement park except for me. He's like, I'm going to ride all the rides, and no one can come here at all. And it created fervor, and everyone really wanted to be there because they couldn't be there. So, yeah, it's like, oh, you can't find me. Where am I? And make everyone really wonder. Hopefully we can add to the intrigue and mystique with this. And they'll be like, man, we just saw him on this podcast, and he fucking killed it. Where is he now? And they won't know, and they'll get anxious, and they'll be like, we have to hear the next song.
Come to Six Springs this Friday night. You might see me around, but more importantly, come to see Jacob.
I don't know
Zaz
about
and
more
Lucy.
importantly, but do that for sure. Do follow his advice, y'all. Come on out on Friday night. Well, thank you, David. It's been truly an honor having you on as our guest. And thank you, Jonathan, for also being our guest.
Yes,
And
tomorrow
thank you, Six
night,
Springs
Monday.
Tavern. Yep,
Come see
yep.
Jonathan.
Come out tomorrow night to Six Springs and
Just
hear
come
more of
hang
his
out here
songs.
all week long, y'all. Like,
Yeah,
it's
there's
just-
really not a bad time to come to Six Springs Tavern, honestly. You come in here, you're going to hear good music, you're going to eat some good food, you're going to have a good time, you're going to meet good people. So thank you, everyone. If you tuned in on the live stream, thank you for that. If you were here in our live audience, thank you. We'll be back next week with the Hair of the Dog show with Jacob and Zaz. We need to
Yep.
make a kitschy graphic or something for it, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we can get an artistic representation of Poncho and make a little logo and stuff. And maybe we'll even like make a Facebook page and kind of make it a little more official. This has all been pretty loosey-goosey so far, but maybe we can kind of reel it in a little bit. Perhaps. Anyway, y'all have a great night. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. I know it's fleeting, but another one's coming around in just about 5 days. I don't know how many hours or minutes that is, but some amount, and it'll come around again. So y'all be good. Thank you so much.
Have David close us out?
David, if you have one more song that you would like to close us out, we'd be honored to hear it.
All right, I'll sing the ladies a song. This one's, in fact, Alice, if you wanted.
Bye, Sonny.
Bye, Sonny. And also, tune in early. Get here early on Sundays, or tune in early to see Sonny's show, Wake and Bake. She always has great guests. She plays in Sunny Disposition, and they are fucking awesome. And so, yeah, just plan for Sundays. Sundays are Six Springs days. And it doesn't start till after church, so if you are a churchgoer, there's plenty of time to make it here in time to
Brunch.
continue your celebration of life.
I'm a proof of that.
Yes. All right, close this out, David.
Alice, you want to join me on this Mended?
Yeah.
You don't have to. You don't want to.
I was trying to remember what. And then
So this is a song dedicated to anyone who's been broken and been mended back to the love that you once were. Hope you guys like it. When your hand grips mine so tight, I will do my best to fight. And when your eyes take mine by surprise, I will try my best to hold the line. Take me below. Ain't that where all the good ones go? For we all know this realm is already owned. And when your song reaches out to my shores, will I then meet the one I adore? Take us below. Ain't that where all the good ones go? We all know this realm is already owned. And she sang out. I was losing, you've already won the war. I was losing, you've already won the war. This heart I've been breaking, you take back home in your chariots of fire surround your chosen ones, your chariots of fire, chariots of fire surround your chosen ones. Through tears I was weeping, you brought a breakthrough. This heart I was breaking, you mended back to you. Thank you. God bless you guys.
Thank you so much, man. Y'all have a great night. That's the end of our show. We'll see you next week.